It's been a few days and Guilty Gear Strive's finals for ArcRevo 2023 just finished. Relatively speaking, just finished being the fact that it's been a few days and now we're talking about it here. But regardless, this was the biggest ArcRevo yet, and more importantly, the biggest ArcSys tournament that we've had in a long time. And it's so important because the simple fact of the matter is there was a $50,000 pot bonus. Not like 50,000 overall. I mean, first place brought home $50,000, and the next biggest pot bonus that we know is coming from Capcom. So realistically speaking, now is the perfect time to get into Guilty Gear Strive. And I know I've done a video like this before when it was like season 2, early season 2, or like late season 1, but that's not my point here. All right, my main point being is that right now everybody should be playing Guilty Gear Strive. And in fact, I think you're gonna regret it if you don't pick up Guilty Gear Strive now. Now, granted, if you're already not in anime games or anime fighting games, if you will, don't touch Guilty Gear Strive. But if you are, if you've been teetering on whether or not you should or shouldn't pick up the game, learn the game, play the game, whatever, I have a very strong feeling that right now it's in your favor to pick this game up. For starters, we can actually talk about the results, the finals of ArcRevo, and we had 3 American players duking it out in ArcRevo against the world's strongest. And for those that don't know, ArcRevo is the tournament. Picture this as the Capcom Pro Tour, the Super Bowl, if you will, when it comes to ArcSys fighting games. And for Guilty Gear Strive in particular, we had 3 Japanese players, 1 French player, 3 American players, and I definitely apologize. Zando was the only RAM player in finals, and he's a damn good player. I just don't know Zando's country flag, and that's my high school failure, right? That's on me not knowing geography, but it is what it is. Let's continue. Please don't flame me in the comments for what we've always been saying, and rather we not being me, but we being the people that are a part of the Guilty Gear Strive community, and specifically in the North American based Strive community. They are very, 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 very confident that every other country was ass. And I say that and I mean that. I mean, when they said every other country's ass and they thought NA was the strongest, they meant it. Now, coming from somebody who has watched a lot of Guilty Gear prior to Strive, and I understand the very base principle of Guilty Gear, right? North America is not the greatest when it comes to playing Guilty Gear, and that doesn't mean that they're weak. I don't want anyone to think that, but what I mean by that is that they are not the upper echelon of Strive players or Guilty Gear players. Now, when it comes to Strive in particular, we've got Umisho, we've got Tempest, and we've got Nubenheimer holding it down for the United States of America when it comes to Guilty Gear Strive. And we know Tempest is honestly the most consistent player, right? Tempest and Umisho are probably the most consistent players when it comes to tournament results for Guilty Gear Strive, no matter what they're playing. And the fact that they made it in the top 8 for ArcRevo of all tournaments says a lot. Nubenheimer is also a very strong player, also consistent across the board, racking up his points to be able to pull in the victory, get the dub, and then duke it out in top 8. But there's a key thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Japan versus NA, or even just other countries versus NA. NA is, I'm being completely fair, weak. NA is weak when it comes to the neutral. We play characters that kind of skip neutral or just don't care. Happy Chaos is a perfect example of that, where NA believes that Happy Chaos is the strongest character in the game, and while I don't disagree with that per se, I also don't think that Happy Chaos is number 1. And I think the same thing that I've said about the anime community when it comes to Demon Slayer, Naruto, other games like that, is that we adapt a mentality where instead of dealing with it or learning how to deal with it at any case or any worst case scenario, we bitch a lot. And I know that sounds very negative, because it probably is very negative, but I don't mean it in a negative. Dude, how do I make something not sound negative, but it's still negative at the end of the day? I'm not attacking you, but I am saying that watching all of ArcRevo, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. Watching all of ArcRevo definitely showed me that there is a huge difference. What do you guys say? You guys say no diff, right? Something is like a 0 difference is a no difference. Okay, in my opinion, Japan versus NA is just a no diff. I feel like it's a no diff at this point. When you put the top of the top when it comes to Japan versus the top of the top when it comes to NA, I feel like Japan no diffs NA. And the reason I think that is solely based off of the neutral. Watching TY play, for instance, and either his Chip or his Giovanna was outstanding to watch. Bro, it made me wet. But TY's neutral by itself was phenomenal. Momochi, we know Momochi is a god when it comes to fighting games, and his neutral is always good. Not only is his neutral good, but his defense is amazing. And watching the both of them play any opponent, it didn't matter who the opponent was. It was just, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It was dick riding worthy. It was worth dick riding. If I'm being honest, I'm like, damn, I want to play like them. It's worth dick riding. There is a huge like shining light, right? There's a big ass shining light at the end of all this. This is not a dark tunnel for NA, and I don't want people to think that I don't want NA to win or whatever. Like this weird war between, it's always been a war when it comes to fighting games. But regardless, I don't want anyone to think that, even though I know that you probably think that because you didn't make it this far in the video. But all I'm saying is, for a lot of us picking up this game right now, brand new players, we're in the Guilty Gear Strive. We want to learn the game, especially before Street Fighter 6 comes out. My dog is losing her mind. Right now is the perfect time for anybody to get into the game, whether you be new, intermediate, probably advanced, whatever the case may be. This is going to be an intense breeding ground. We know that season 3 is coming. They've already announced that they're working on it as some sort of secret teaser, not so secret thing, but whatever. We know we're getting 2 new characters, one being Bedman ? And then the next character, which I'm presumably assuming that is going to be that man. That's such a weird, whatever, Asuka. We know that they're prepping Guilty Gear to compete with Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing that I can see coming from this is the content. And for me, being someone who loves the FGC, I have a really weird love-hate relationship with the FGC. I hate y'all. I really do. But I don't hate y'all because, you know, you guys are a bunch of sexist, weird pigs or some other stuff. I don't like the FGC when it comes to content simply because you guys just don't. We're stuck in the same shit. I've watched the FGC go from the starting grounds, or rather the starting line, get halfway to the finish line, turn around, walk back to the starting line, and then just sit there. We're at a point right now when it comes to FGC content where we are not moving forward. It's very, very, very slow, right? And I know the whole like, what is the term? The turtle wins the race, or whatever the term is. We're there when it comes to the content for the FGC, and there are so few people who are trying to push it forward, and big shout outs. But now with Arxis's way of really just announcing season 3 secretly / not so secretly, content is gonna have a big boom. And I mean this in a way for all of the FGC, all fighting games, but in particular, we're talking about Guilty Gear right now. There's a big thing about Guilty Gear that holds a lot of people back, and it's the fact that they don't know how to learn the game. Sure, there are combos out there. There are character guides, if you will, out there, which those are probably the closest thing to learning the game. But there's no one teaching someone how to officially play the game. There's no one doing match analysis the right way in a bite-sizable chunk way. There's so much about the competitive side of the FGC that doesn't get shown off. Meanwhile, there's a huge market for the casual side of things that we never get to see because honestly, people just don't make content for it. That, or it just doesn't get seen because YouTube's algorithm is kind of like, fuck you. But at the end of the day, if you want to learn Guilty Gear Strive, now is the time. Now is absolutely the time to learn Guilty Gear Strive because there are going to be so many people picking this game up now. It's on sale by the time you watch this video, and it's going to be the second or third most played game that people are going to be aiming for when it comes to, well, money. But you're probably thinking to yourself, how does one start learning Guilty Gear Strive? Because if it's hard to do before ArcRevo's finals, what makes it easier now? And I'm gonna tell you that eventually, just not in this video because I ran out of time. Smell you later.